What is good, further beyonders? How you been, Pan? How you been, Pan?
Doing well, doing well. Just going to college, chilling, doing some content here and there.
You are
The
murdering
usual.
that college grind. I'm pretty sure me and the rest of the fan base can say we are proud of you killing that shit.
Thank you, thank you.
Coming from a
You
dropout.
you've been doing your thing on YouTube, okay? Always there is no like prime that you have passed, okay? It only goes up, at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
so
that's
far.
true. That's true. I've been thinking
Every
lately
day.
about going back
Yeah.
to college for some reason. I don't know.
What would you study?
I don't know. Maybe I can be the next Phoenix Wright.
Oh, going back. Yeah. You said that you had like two ideas on what to do, like detective work and then becoming a lawyer, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I probably wouldn't go back into like the criminal justice field. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, maybe like business, like some sort of like degree like that could actually help me in like the field that I'm doing with YouTube and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe something like that. But I gotta get over my fear of math and shit. So once that happens, once that happens, I'll debate going back. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are back with two. I think Pan City has more of like a theory, and I have a story.
Yeah,
Of course, I think last episode we did. I don't remember. I think last episode might have been. I don't want to say Halloween. Was it Halloween episode?
it was Halloween,
It was the
sadly.
Halloween. Yeah, sorry we slacked on the month of November, bro. But we are back in December. Like I said, Pan has more of a theory. So if you want to go ahead and lead us off, Pan, let's go ahead and do your
Yeah,
thing.
we can do theory first, and a interesting story later on that I also know nothing about, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but to start it off, I don't even know if I would call this a theory. It's more of a hypothesis because these things are usually unsure. But to start off, do you know what the uncanny valley is?
Woo! I have heard of it. Yes.
Okay, okay. So for those who don't know, the word uncanny itself, I believe, is it from German? I'm actually not sure, okay? So people sometimes use it as a synonym for being scared, but it is kind of more complicated than that and also more than that because it describes not just, being scared or whatever. It describes the kind of uneasy feeling or fear of something that looks almost human. And then you have the uncanny valley. And by valley, it means a certain spectrum. Like there are like images online you can Google, okay, in terms of uncanny valley, what constitutes as something normal, what constitutes as something like unnormal, unalive, and then you have stuff in between. Like for example, some robot that looks very similar to human, right? Or if you know Mandela catalog, I think it works with this whole valley fear of beings looking like humans and but not being humans, right? Like
Yeah.
it's I don't know, yeah. And the theory or the hypothesis comes into play when people wondered, why do we as humans even have this type of instinct when we are born? Because this isn't something really that you're taught actively. Right? You somehow just get this skill almost that you have this kind, like you distance yourself, or you want to distance yourself from beings or
Yeah, like
people.
most fears
Yeah.
come from like generational like trauma basically. So
And then, you wonder, how does this even happen? And then there are like multiple explanations, and this is what I wanted, to go into, because I mean, there is no definitive answer. Some are more likely, some are less likely. And as always with these conspiracies, the less likely ones are the most fun ones or more interesting ones. So take this with a grain of salt. Nothing is completely proven because this could go back millions of years. I don't fucking know. Like the before we became humans, we were different, evolution, whatever. Everything can believe whatever they want. It's yeah. So one of the most popular, I guess, explanations has something to do with Neanderthals. Okay, everybody knows them. Neanderthal breeding, to be specifically. Okay, and like whatever came out apparently didn't look no human really, And then this whole, maybe over the years, it kind of happened because, regular, like not necessarily regular humans, but at some point, apparently, different types of like evolution wise humans were alive, and breeding shouldn't happen like that, because whatever comes out isn't really like we are, like humans. So maybe that's where it kind of came from. um, Once again, no real proof of this because it's way too long ago. And then I feel like the most interesting one, and this is probably the most unlikely, because there's like, for the others, maybe you could make a case, but this one is more interesting, I guess. But it is more, I don't know, on the crazier side, I guess. People thought about, what if there was a predator of some kind in the past, and they call him the Uncanny Valley Predator. So something that was hunting humans that didn't look like humans. This is, of course, pretty out there, okay? As I said, no proof of this.
Wait,
It's
so
just a
something that
hypothesis.
looks like a
Yeah.
human, but it's not a human.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of goes back to the whole Mandela catalog, of course, but this theory is obviously older than the Mandela catalog series, so it's not, referencing that. But it is kind of, you can draw comparisons to that. It's like, did something exist in the past that humans, like evolution wise, over many, many years, tried to stay away from, and through that developed a certain fear of things that looked similar to humans, but they aren't humans. This, I thought this was pretty interesting to really think about. But people do dismiss this explanation a lot, and rather quickly, just because there is no, and that's not necessarily a reason, but people dismiss it because there is like absolutely no proof of nothing, of something like this ever existing. Because you have like dinosaurs, skeletons, whatever, found. You have different living beings found, but then this specific thing, nothing. So once again, you can take it with you should take it with a grain of salt. But it would be interesting to think about if there was actually something in the past that made us so scared that we, over the years, genetically changed to, get away from something like this.
Yeah, and it's
And
one of those things of like,
yeah.
where did it go like after prehistoric times? Like, do they still walk among us right now? Have they learned to like be more human like? Like to where we
Hmm.
can't even tell the difference between humans and uncanny figures?
I feel like you can take, like, start from here and go into different conspiracies even, which would of course take too much time on some CDD. Like, if actually these, like, if we entertain this thought and the predators actually exist, and as you said, if they live among us, like, this opens up a new door to whatever, like simulation theory almost, um, cloning, weird aliens, like anything is really is possible here. But this is why the Neanderthal theory really is probably more popular, because it is at least more plausible, right? Just weird looking babies that don't really look human, and this is why we keep our distance from them, because they aren't really human. But the interesting thing is, and this is something I didn't actually know, but it kind of makes sense. Animals don't seem to have an uncanny valley, at least most of them. I believe like chimpanzees do, so they also get kind of, I don't know, scared if they see something that looks like them but isn't. But animals don't have any issues when they are confronted with, like let's say dogs are see something that looks like a dog but isn't, right? Like maybe like a robot dog with, just a fake dog. They don't care, but humans do. So it's only really us, and I guess some, I mean, evolution wise, once again, it's like human like uh animals, right? Like chimpanzees. So
That might
this
can
is
even
kind of.
honestly thinking about it, might can connect to like the whole like maybe skinwalker theory. Like maybe skinwalkers were way more
Hmm.
predominant back then.
Yeah.
Because as you guys know, skinwalkers are like beings or witches that can turn into animals, but they still have like human-like features once they turn into these animals. So maybe
Hmm.
Neanderthals saw like a wolf or something with a human face, and it just looked very weird and awkward, and they just programmed themselves to like stay away from those things.
Yeah. It just while researching this, I didn't even like it didn't occur to me, but now talking about it, it does open up a lot of gates to different stuff. Like it's not of course, this is all just, conspiracy stuff, nothing proven. Even the more um explainable, I guess, explanations or more plausible ones are still rather unclear. And then the third one, which was also pretty popular, not as popular as Neanderthal breeding, I believe, but I've seen it a lot too. People when people were asked about what they thought and what they research and shit, and that is that the uncanny valley originates from us wanting to distance ourselves from corpses. So when humans die, they of course still are, look like human, but because they are dead and their bodies over time, like certain parts on the face, skin, whatever, they disappear, whatever, skeletons are left at the very end. It looks unhuman, right? And this comes into this valley, this spectrum where humans feel uneasy, right? Like you would definitely feel uneasy when a corpse was lying around you, right? You don't necessarily want to be close to it. So this is, I mean, but then again, you could also say it's just because it's a dead person. Like you don't want to be next to a dead person. But then I don't know,
And you
different
see a
ways
lot
to
of these
explain it.
like, if you go on TikTok, I'm sure you can find an edit of somebody like painting their face to look uncanny or whatever. Like it's not that
Hmm.
uncommon, but like when they do these things, like usually they'll like make their eyes look more sunken, and they'll push their nose in a little bit, like with makeup effects and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it can easily be compared to like a rotting corpse or like a dying body, basically. So yeah, that probably
Hmm.
makes the most sense to me, is that we just kind of like convinced ourselves to stay away from dead bodies, and that's what uncanny valley is.
Yeah, this dead corpse explanation does make more sense, especially with the idea that corpses transmit diseases, and you can get sick if you stay too close. So obviously, stay away from corpses. So that could be the explanation. But then I saw this. It was like one journalist that wrote an article on it, and I have no idea if this is actually true because this is like the only, I don't want to necessarily say serious source, but I mean, it was an article in a paper, I guess, whatever, in a newspaper. So maybe it is like you can believe in it. But there was like a woman, like a journalist, saying that the idea that corpses transmit diseases is false in most cases because when you die, dead cells die, and therefore the virus also dies, and diseases in contact with corpses rarely happen except for people that work in that field and have a lot of contact, and anything can happen there. And this whole idea was apparently invented and told to the public to scare them and make them pay money for disposal and everything around corpses because you
That's
like it's
crazy.
it's like you were told to be scared of them, so you get people to your house or wherever it happened to get rid of them, because obviously that won't happen for free, sadly. Could be, probably. It should something like that should probably be free, but then of course who pays them? I don't know.
Yeah, they tell you they're causing diseases and how scared they are, and then they charge you to put you inside a box, and they charge you for a service, and they charge you for a preacher. Yeah, it's just
Hmm.
a way to make more money.
Yeah. Actually, like the whole like funerals and the whole process after someone dies is made so expensive. It's actually crazy.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people take the cheaper options, right? Like cremating or whatever that was, just because they cannot afford to, have their bodies be like on a graveyard, whatever. Like just the traditional way. Let me call it that. It's crazy when I really think about it. But yeah, I feel like this explanation with the corpses does make more sense. I don't know if I necessarily want to believe the corpses don't transmit diseases thing. I would need to look more into it. And as I said, it was like one person who said that. I went on like forums, people were talking about this woman, and then I found the article, and then it's like yeah, I
Just
have maybe
one
maybe
person.
I did bad research, but it's like it's only her saying this was invented by some companies, some businesses to get more money, and I mean, on the
It
one hand,
sounds true, but she,
yeah,
where'd she cite like sources, or she is like, yo,
it
don't
was
believe
just
him.
said. No sources, no nothing. So
Yeah,
I have to wonder.
she's a
And
crackhead.
I, like, I would probably dismiss it just because it sounds so weird. Like I know cells die and viruses die that way, but it still doesn't feel sanitary. Is maybe not the right. It doesn't seem so. I don't know, non-sickness related when a corpse is next to you, right? And or if you dispose it yourself. But then I'm like, I also a couple weeks ago found out that something like the idea of the breakfast, right, being the most important meal of the day, was also invented by Kellogg's and the bacon industry to sell more
Yeah.
cereal and bacon
No, I
for
actually
the
have heard
whole.
that a lot.
Yeah,
That breakfast isn't supposed to, like, lunch is the most important meal, not breakfast.
yeah, and then of course when cigarettes in the past got this whole bad image, right? Because people found out, oh shit, it causes cancer, guys. No, nobody knew. Um, then the companies started paying scientists to do fake papers telling them that no, it's all clean, guys. Buy more cigarettes. Like you can fake this shit, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe this corpse shit is true to an extent at least. Maybe it is true. Like sometimes you go through your day-to-day life, it's you don't think about certain aspects of life like that, but then you take a closer look and it's okay, some stuff is weird. Okay, it's just there to get you to pay more money
Yeah,
in
like
a
there's
way.
this whole theory, like, I guess this woman was questioning, like, she never knew that you were never supposed to give water to, like, a baby until they turned, like, maybe 2 years old. So, like, people
Hmm.
started theorizing, like, what if we're not even supposed to be drinking water? Like, what if we're supposed to be drinking, like, natural hormonal milk from, like, women's bodies and stuff, like, for the rest of our life or some shit? I
That's
don't know.
crazy.
Like, people just hear one thing and then they just run with
Yeah,
that.
50-year-old weirdos
Yeah,
are
like, I'm not a
laughing
Homelander.
right now.
I'm not doing that. I'm cool off that shit.
Oh, that was a good reference. Nah, but yeah, the Uncanny Valley itself is pretty interesting. I even had a college class on the Uncanny, surprisingly, which was interesting,
Really?
and I learned more about it. Yeah, it's like I forgot exactly what I think this was about, like horror stuff. Like I had like a horror writing class, and the like the Uncanny was also part of it. And then I believe Vsauce also did videos on it. It's an interesting field to look into. Of course, a lot of stuff is just hypotheses. You never know for sure. And for this one, like, where did we get it from? I think we both agreed at the end. Like the corpse explanation is seems like the most plausible. The predator is probably the most interesting. Like I don't know, not necessarily funny, but like entertaining one. But it's also kind of out there. Like a predator, really, like no proof at all. And then the Neanderthal breeding could be, but similar stuff. Like it's also pretty much out there. It's so long ago, hard to tell. So the corpse one, it seems to be the most grounded, the most plausible, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like the most believable for sure.
Yeah.
Because with the whole human body, like it definitely takes some convincing to like keep Neanderthals and stuff away from dead people and stuff like that. So I believe it for sure.
Yeah. But this is basically it. I just, found out about that there are actually theories around it because I never gave it any thought. It's like, the Uncanny Valley, but never really where it originated from. So people to this day are still thinking about it, even scientists. There's I don't even think there is a majority like an explanation that the majority agrees upon. It's still pretty much highly debated. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, mine is about a missing person report that's actually ongoing to this day. I
Mm.
saw a story about this on TikTok and it interested me because I love seeing like ongoing cases because like when it's not like we're researching the Zodiac killer and learn about something that happened 35,000 years ago or some shit. Like it's happening like right now in real time, so we get to actually see the outcome like as it goes
Mm-hmm.
on and shit. So it's about a woman named Nancy Ying. She went on a trip to Guatemala on October 19th. So this is of course like 2 months ago, like very recent, very recent. She's a 29-year-old school assistant in Northern California, and her and a group of like maybe 10 or 11 people went to Guatemala for a yoga retreat. So I'm guessing, they had like a little break off from school, like, yo, let's take a week off to go just like
Mm-hmm.
kayaking, meditating in Guatemala. Like they went to a lake and stuff like that. So just like a small little vacation for her. And I don't know if these were other teachers, but it definitely was a group of people that she was like very familiar with. Like they could have been either very good associates or acquaintances, or like they could be friends basically.
Yeah.
And it was their second year doing this, so they had already done this shit the year before, and now they're doing it this year as well. So Nancy went kayaking with a group of people. They're basically just having fun and stuff like that. And there's even a video of Nancy kayaking, just like kind of in the middle of a lake with other people, and she's waving at the person recording and laughing and having a good time. So she knows these people very well. Like there's nothing weird going on. Like if it'd be like me hanging out with like y'all and Jez and Mikey and all that stuff. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
just like a group of homies that know each other from whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, the woman was recording her and she was laughing and stuff like that. And this is actually the last time that she was ever seen was in that video. So what happened was the last time she was seen was Nancy had split off from the group to go kind of kayaking deeper into the lake with another woman. So it wasn't like she was by herself. She was with another person that was inside the group or whatever. And they went further into the lake, probably about a mile out. And the woman said, or the woman's, I guess, what she told the police or whatever, was that Nancy stood up after going about a mile into the lake and then just jumped into the water for no reason.
What?
They said the woman said Nancy never resurfaced. There wasn't a struggle in the water. She kind of just stood up on the boat, jumped into the lake, and
Oh hell no.
then nothing happened after that. So the woman kind of was like just looking around, like trying to find her and stuff. And eventually she went back to the group to like, yo, Nancy just disappeared. Like she just jumped into the water and she never came back up. So the group of people, of course, they started panicking and they all leave the lake together. I don't know why they didn't go back to find her. But like all 10 or 11 people all went back and then went to the hotel and notified them and like told the manager like, yo, one of our people just jumped into the lake. Like, can you go find people to help search for her and stuff? So the hotel manager ended up getting like a group of staff. Like, this is just call the police. I don't know why he went to go get. I don't know why he went to go get Gregory and Arnold to go search for somebody that just drowned inside
Maybe,
the.
bro, the amount of missing case that we have covered on this series with the police not doing their job, maybe this hotel staff is better at this. I don't fucking know.
They're all just expert divers. Immediately
Yeah.
find her. But yeah, he went to go get the hotel staff, and they all jumped into the water one by one in the spot that she had disappeared in, and they still couldn't find her. After about an hour of searching, the staff then called the police, and the police began their search. The one thing that was weird about this entire interaction was, as soon as the police began their search, all 10 or 11 people that were there with Nancy, they all left that day. Like, even though
Damn.
they still had 5 more days on the trip, they all packed their bags and left without even giving a police report, without telling the police anything. The police asked them if they could, like, kind of question them and bring them into custody, and they're all like, no, and just left immediately.
But
So there is no testimony from anybody inside the group. The only reason that we have that the woman said that she just jumped into the lake is because she told the hotel manager that. Like, that's the only testimony that we have, is that the woman said Nancy stood up on her boat and jumped into the lake. The police tried their hardest. They were all like, we're not telling y'all a thing, and just left. Well, after they left, the police searched for a whopping 3 more days and then gave up immediately.
wow.
So we have, of course, the shoddy police work that we're used to in cases like these. I don't know why it's such a If I ever go missing, I'm just
3
gonna
days?
basically just. I'm gonna
What?
like the police are not finding me. They don't ever do anything. Like,
3 days is crazy.
That's
Maybe
what I'm
they didn't
saying.
have. Maybe they didn't have the resources. But man, imagine you're missing and you're like, fuck. They only looked for me for 3 days. I'm fucked. Like that's it.
Exactly. Like 3 days is insane. And imagine your family like having to tell the family like, "Yo, we tried our hardest." Like, no, you didn't. You're out there for 2 days and a half, and y'all took mad long lunch breaks. Y'all didn't do anything. Bro, get out of here.
Yeah, this is
Um,
beyond their pay grade.
exactly. Yeah. So the group left. The police searched for 3 days and then gave up immediately. Nancy's family,
Hmm.
of course, was very, very aggravated with this, mad at the police of Guatemala. So they ended up hiring their own searching team called the Black Wolf Helicopters, which is basically like a big diving crew that, of course, searches the area with helicopters and paddle boats. And they searched the entire lake, I think, for probably, I think they said for about a month, like way
Hmm.
longer than 3 days. And they searched about, in that month, they searched 99% of the lake and couldn't find the body whatsoever. So it's basically like her body's not inside that lake. If she were to jump in the area that they searched for, she'd definitely be in that area or like around it. Like there, it's a lake, so it's still water.
Yeah.
There is no currents. There is nothing dragging people out further than it needs to. No whirlpools. It's still water. So if her body was in that area, it'd definitely be in the same spot, just deeper into the water.
Hmm.
They searched 99% of the lake. Nothing was found. Which of course turned this into a criminal investigation. So the family then ended up, going to the FBI, telling lawyers and stuff like, "Yo, can y'all please do an investigation on this?" The scary part about this was as soon as all the people got back to California or whatever, all the 10 people that went with Nancy, the family has tried to get into contact with all of them, and they are all denying calls from the family. They're denying calls from the
Mm.
police. They're denying calls from the FBI. Like they aren't telling anybody anything. And the woman that was with Nancy is a friend of the family that has always like been there for them no matter what has
There's
happened. So
always a friend of the family.
yeah, but it's the woman that said that Nancy jumped into the lake. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you a friend of the family and you still won't answer the phone, dog. Like what?
Yeah, I'm saying like we had not the same like similar cases I think in the
Yeah.
past where a group of friends goes there and there's always this one very close friend, but then someone dies and they're like, no, I don't know, or don't even respond. The one that was like beat up or whatever and then killed.
Yeah, they went to the beach or whatever. It's the Mexico, I
Yeah,
think.
and then none of them know, right? Like close friend, no, nobody knows.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like everybody just all of a sudden wants nothing to do. Like, bro, your friend, it can't be found, and
I
y'all are the
smell a
only ones.
conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly, y'all are the only ones that could possibly know where she is.
Yeah.
They said they've reached out to the woman upwards of 90 times in the past 2 months, and every single time the phone has never been answered. They went to her house. While she was there, she won't answer the door. It's just mad conspicuous things that could be, of course, a conspiracy as at hand here. So, as of right
Hmm.
now, the FBI is looking further into it. There's actually a lot of heat being put on the woman that was because TikTok got a hold of this shit, and once TikTok got
Yeah.
a hold of this, it's basically over for you. Like they found out the woman's name, they found out her boyfriend's name, her address. Like once,
They think they 4chan. What?
yeah, but they're scarier than Fortune. They can find out. They could probably
I
find
don't
out where I
know.
live if I did something. Like there's a dude on TikTok that literally finds people's locations
Oh
from
yeah, yeah,
pictures.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
people are scary.
He's crazy.
Yeah, like TikTok is just a scary place. So yeah, now it's just like a huge criminal investigation. Of course, it's only been like a month and a half, so I'll keep updated on exactly what happens. But the woman
Hmm.
is still refusing to talk to anybody up to this
Yeah, they
point.
they gotta get those testimonies. One where I don't know how they didn't do it, like get them yet. Like, can't the police? I don't know. Maybe I don't fucking know what happens.
Well,
Like what the
since
intricacies are.
it happened in a different country, like once you
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back to
That's what I'm
America, it's
thinking
kind of
here.
like it gets all sketchy a little bit. So
But it's like, can you kill someone in Guatemala and then just leave real quick and then ah? I don't know. Like, I believe there's probably like international um, options like police, whatever it's called, right? I don't know the
well,
exact terms
like
here
until they
to
get evidence that you did something, they can't really push it on you.
But but they are the last people who were with her, so at least get the testimonies. But I feel like since this is pretty new, like this is November, right? Like last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like if it didn't happen yet, there will probably be more info, and maybe they will be forced to testify. I don't know, like this or next month. I don't know how fast this all uh, goes.
Yeah, we'll see what exactly happens. Like I said, I'll keep it updated. It literally just happened a few months ago. So, there's this guy that's just like constantly doing research and
Yeah.
looking into the family and all the family friends and stuff like that. Like he's still updating it like to this hour. Like he posted like 10 videos in the past 2 days. Like he going crazy.
Oh man.
So yeah, we'll see exactly what happens. But yeah, it's just one of those typical missing persons case where just
Yeah.
nobody wants to speak about anything for no
I guess
reason.
if we get like more revelations, like this gets like even crazier, more info, maybe they find out who it is. I guess we can cover it in a future episode, but no guarantees. It's some all these missing cases, like most of these so far, just nothing comes out of it, and then you just have to assume that the person died, and I mean that's about it.
I'm starting to think that you can just easily get away with murder at this point. Because like all this stuff we've covered where like
It
the
is
police
so
just
weird,
give up.
right?
like it happens and the police just like, all right, well, and then just give up like 3 days later. Like, dog, I only got to hide evidence for 3 days and I'm in the clear. Like, no way.
I don't know. The family might not let the friends live like that. They might not.
Yeah, they hired Phoenix Wright to go out there and do lawyer shit. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think if I guess making conspiracies about it, I think the woman definitely killed her. The woman that she went out with a mile out. I don't know if there was any beef there, but I mean nobody, unless it was like a suicide, which I doubt she would do it in front of anybody because she could just be saved. I don't think anybody's just standing up in the boat and just jumping into the water with literally no
Weird.
frame of reference at all.
But if we think, like, if we just assume that it was a suicide, I don't see a reason for them to keep quiet about it and refuse testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would mean that they are innocent, right? If it's suicide, that's bad, but they are innocent. But I don't know. The keeping quiet is the most suspicious thing here.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe it was like a group thing. Like, yo, I'm about to bring her out here.
That would be wild.
I'm gonna say that she jumped off. We all know that we hate this one woman, and we're not gonna kill her ourselves. But I'll do it because I hate her the most.
Yeah. Maybe this Nancy Ying was like the most evil person alive, and she's like, we don't know.
I mean, she was a teacher for special ed students. So how evil can you really be?
You never know. You never.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. Nah. We gotta get those testimonies. That's the first thing that needs to be done.
Yeah, but like Pan said, we'll try to keep you updated if we see anything else on this. Last thing I think I saw the dude say was like there was good news, and then he just started yapping, so I just clicked out the video. But
The usual.
yeah, it was like a 10-minute video, so I was like, I'll watch this shit later.
No way.
All right, well, I think that's good on my part. You good, Pan?
Yep.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Uncanny Valley and Nancy Ying. Like I said, I'll keep you updated. And if there's just a revelation on uncanny monsters, Pam will come back in here and talk about this, of course.
Fuck.
If they reveal themselves to be real
gotta.
creatures. This has been Further Bond. We will see you guys next episode. Peace.
Peace.